Ambassador Dato Dr Ananda Kumaraseri is a career ambassador of over 30 years standing. He retired in 1995 as Director General ASEAN. Since then, he has authored several notable books on such important subjects such as the cultivation of human values, personal development, holistic education, the sacredness of motherhood, mother care, holistic parenting, child care and development, and peace. He is a much sought-after Dharma speaker in Malaysia and overseas. His recent treatise on holistic motherhood and parenting is widely used as a practical yet effective training manual for courses on social ills and crimes, such as drug abuse, AIDS, child abuse, and gender inequality. He is the president of the Human Development and Peace Foundation. Dato Ananda Kumaraseri has carved a niche for himself in espousing the concept of living by Buddhism by emphasizing the practice and practical application of the Buddha's teachings in daily life. He is available for public talks and discussions. His email is akumaraseri@yahoo.com. You may also refer to www.livingbybuddhism.com for an insight into his works and activities.
This is just a brief introduction. My vision is slowly we can make this the image, the visibility, the presence of Buddhists in any society. That's why, as Professor Cheng mentioned, Dharmaputri actually first, because always the Buddha emphasized the ladies first. Dharmaputri, then Dharmaputra means daughters and sons of the Dhamma. We are all daughters and sons of the Dhamma. When we start using these terms, we feel we belong to one family. That is why the Buddha used these phrases, to make you feel that you are not alone. You are all one big family, very big family, very wonderful family. So we are going to have another talk on Buddhist civilization and culture. In that talk, I'm going to go into details of this. But for now, we just understand that there's some wonderful Buddhist practices that we need to revive and we need to make everybody understand and practice. Today, we are going to look at personal self-development. This is a very important topic. And often what happens is, we invite somebody from America, or from England, or from Europe, and we pay some, how many, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 to go and listen to them. And they're only teaching the Buddha's teaching with new words. We call it in English jargon, just new words. But actually they're using Buddhism or the Dhamma, and they tell you this is the way to develop yourself. Many of them, I'm sure you must have come across Stephen Covey's 7 Steps to Happiness. Have you come across that? Then there is Anthony Robbins, who talks about the fire in you, bring out the fire in you. Then you have the law of attraction, all kinds of new ideas they market, but actually it is not new. It is not new. They use the Dhamma, but use new words. Only new words, new terms. We have the Dhamma. We are very fortunate, we are very lucky. We have the Dhamma. But we are also very unlucky because we don't use the Dhamma. Some of us do not even know the Dhamma. Some children do not know even the Dhamma. No chance to know the Dhamma. Either the parents don't bother or no opportunities. So wherever I go, I always salute anyone and any organization that gives opportunity for the Dharmaputris and Dharmaputras to learn and to practice the Dhamma. This is a wonderful, wonderful, noble act virtuous act. So we as ordinary people must support these activities, these organizations, these members, leaders of this organization. So always I salute Mr. Cheng for being the president of the foundation, and also the lay Buddhist organization who make arrangements, so many arrangements. Just now I went to the camp, and little children, they are so happy to be around. But if Papa and Mama don't take the trouble to send them, they cannot have this wonderful opportunity to learn the Dhamma and to live the Dhamma and to develop themselves. Because the Dhamma helps you to develop yourself. It is the best training program. The best training program to develop yourself. The Dhamma is a training program to improve yourself, to have a better life, and to have a more meaningful life. We are very happy to see all of you here. And it is nice to see you interested in your own personal development. That's why you come. You want to improve yourself. But you will be even more happy. I certainly would be very, very happy if I saw more young people around. We would be very, very happy because this is something we have to give to the young people. They are growing up very fast. They see, they hear, they have a lot of influences which is not very good. But if they come to the Vihara like this, if they come to our organizations and follow these kind of programs, then we can help them not to go in the wrong direction. We can stop, we can prevent them from going in the wrong direction. Today many children are lost. Many boys, many girls are lost. They are in a mess. They don't know what to do and they do all kinds of wrong things. Also, as parents, as leaders, as adults, particularly as parents, we have brought these children to the world. We have brought them to the world. We are responsible. We are duty-bound to show them the right way to live. If we don't take them to the Vihara, if we don't take them to Sunday school or Dhamma class or Dhamma camp, they will not know anything. If we do not teach them in the home all the Dhamma practices, if we don't practice ourselves the Dhamma daily, then we are misleading them. We are not giving them the right guidance. This is what the Buddha taught. I am only repeating what the Buddha taught. As parents, we must all together now try and have Dhamma class in this Vihara. Every Saturday, every Sunday, doesn't matter. Have camps. Teach parents how to bring up the children the Dhamma way. Teach parents how to practice in the home the Dhamma. Not just come here once a month or once a week, and also come without the children. Whenever the Dhamma is practiced, bring the whole family, husband, wife, and children. It is wonderful to see the whole family come, and so many families get to know each other, and they get close to each other, and they can help each other, and they can benefit from each other's friendship and company. That is the Buddha's way. That is Dhammaputras, Dhammaputris and Dhammaputras in actual sense, not just terms. The Buddha did not expect us or only ask us to come and pray in the temple, to burn joss sticks and to chant sutras. He wanted us to live a happy life. He wanted us to live a meaningful life. He wanted us to have happy families. And some of the best sutras, the most important sutras, the most profound sutras are about how to have a happy family life. For example, the Sutta, the Mangala Sutta, all these suttas are how to have a wonderful, purposeful, meaningful life. So we must now focus on all those aspects and not just limit our involvement, our commitment to just come and chant and go home. Surely you want your children to be successful. Surely you want your children to be well. Surely you want your children to be happy. Yes or no? Yes. Everyone wants. But can they be happy? Can they be successful? Can they be well just like that? Cannot. You have to take some trouble. You have to take the responsibility, the duty as parents. You have to provide the Dhamma to your children. So that's why I emphasize, and I hope it will come true very soon, that we have Dhamma classes for children everywhere we have a temple or an organization. And we train parents, we train youngsters how to live a happy family life so that they can bring up wonderful lotus-like Dhammaputris and Dhammaputras. That is what the Buddha wanted. Why I am so confident, why I am so fired, so inspired to spread the Dhamma in this way, is because I am so confident that the Buddha is the greatest teacher ever known in human civilization. Nobody can ever come anywhere near the Buddha in terms of being a teacher. And every time, particularly in the Theravada tradition, after taking the 5 precepts, we invoke the virtues of the Buddha by pronouncing, by recalling that he is the Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manusana. Satta Deva Manusana. A teacher of not only men, but also of gods. A teacher of gods and men. The Buddha taught kings, taught queens, princes, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, murderers, scavengers, businessmen. They were all devotees of the Buddha. They were all supporters of the Sangha. He taught all of them how to live a happy family life, how to bring up your own development, how to be able to have a meaningful life. So, we have to look at these things. And this is what we need to focus on. Also, I draw great confidence, great courage. I am brave because of the heritage that Buddhism has left in all the Buddhist countries. Wonderful civilizations in China, in India, in Cambodia, in Indonesia. Everywhere the Dhamma went, everywhere the Buddha's teachings went, it blossomed into great civilizations. The Buddhist civilization is not about wars. It's about creativity. Beautiful buildings, beautiful paintings. You can see all of that creative art everywhere you go. In sculpture, in song, in dance, in literature, in poetry. That is the culture that we have. And we produce some of the best people in the world ever known. And this is something we have to be proud of. This is something we must feel that we can achieve in this modern world as well. Not just in the ancient past. In fact, even more. Because the third factor is the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha is akalika. It is timeless. It is timeless. It cuts across space. It cuts across time. Wherever, even many, many centuries in the future, the Dhamma will prevail. Because the Dhamma is the truth, The Dhamma is the reality. The truth is the reality. It's in the Dhamma. So we can find these three factors to give us the kind of saddha, the confidence that will make us not only develop, but our family and our community to be strong and successful and happy. That you can bring out your talent, your skills, and also the talents and skills and the potential of your children through the Dhamma. Do you feel confident? Do you believe what I said? Are you agreeing with me? Can I have a response from you? I can go on talking, but today we must also talk about the topic. So I hope I inspire you. I hope that you keep your word, that you keep your commitment to make sure that you do what you are supposed to do for your children and for yourself. And for husbands, for the wife, wife for husbands. We have been talking this for these past 2 days. We will talk to you about it. If not, we will send you some books and we can have many discussions and we can improve from this way. Today, I want to focus on this holistic personal development. Everybody wants to be better. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be well and happy. Isn't it? Yes? Yes. But we do not know that there is the wonderful way the Buddha has taught. And there's so much in the Buddha's teachings and the Dhamma we can use. No need to pay anything. No need to pay to Stephen Covey or Anthony Robbins. All free of charge. The Dhamma is free of charge. So you can get all of this free. The first thing we have to understand is we are talking about the human being. When we talk about personal self-development, we are not talking of somebody else. We are talking about ourselves. And when we say we are talking about ourselves, we must understand who we are and what we are. If we don't understand who we are and what we are, then we cannot have the right response. That's why the Buddha said, first of all, look within. Don't look outside. The solution, the problem is you. The solution is also you. No need to go here and there. So if you look within yourself, understand who you are, understand what you are, then you've got the right starting point. Otherwise, you are going to go in the wrong direction. Unlike other teachers during his time and even after his time, great teachers, they said, look at something else. Look at some power outside. Look at some being outside. Look at some, I don't know what it is outside. And they will solve your problem. You just say, please help, they will come and help. Can that happen? No! It's not possible. So we need to follow the Buddha's teaching. And this is unique. This is very unique. All other teachers says, look at me, I will solve your problem. Don't have to worry. But Buddha said, you look within yourself first. Understand who you are. I can only teach you. I can only show you the way. But you must walk the way. I can't walk for you. You have to do it yourself. No religious teacher, as far as my understanding goes, talks like that or insisted that this is the way. The Buddha was a realist. He didn't make you believe something which is not true. He always insists to tell the truth. And that's why he must say what is true. And the truth is that we are made of mind and body. We are made of mind and body. I use this diagram of yin and yang because you are very familiar with yin and yang. Like yin and yang, hot and cold, you have a mind and a body. A healthy mind needs a healthy body. And a healthy body needs a healthy mind. But what is important is that, unlike others, the Buddha emphasized that the mind is very, very important. Others don't talk about the mind. They only talk about the body. In Simon, they talk about the body. How to look beautiful, how to look handsome, how to look young, how to be strong, how to run fast, how to be tall. Sometimes now people do all kinds of things to be tall. All those things only they teach. But the Buddha said, the body is temporary. The body is only temporary. The body is not going to be there for a long, long time. The second truth, the second reality, we are changing all the time. Our life cannot be forever and ever and ever. Anicca is the reality. Whether you are an African or American or Chinese or Japanese or Indian, you have a body and you have a mind. Also, your body is changing all the time. And after some time, you will have to say bye-bye. You are not going to live forever and ever. This is the reality. Not that he wants to make you sad, not that he wants to make you unhappy, but that is the truth. And he wants us to be mindful of this truth, so that we know that while we are alive, we have to live a purposeful and meaningful life. Knowing that I am not going to live forever, I must try as much as possible within this life to live a noble, purposeful, meaningful life. Once we understand that life is not permanent, then we will be urged to do something now before it is too late. Before you grow old, before you can't do anything, do now, here and now. That is the lesson we must learn from impermanence. Even as I talk to you, cells in my body are dying and new cells are coming. Every moment this is happening. We are getting old every day. We are getting old every year. But we should not just get old. We must try and make the age grow with wisdom, grow with beautiful activities, with merit, with metta, with karuna, with all kinds of practices that are taught. This is the other uniqueness of the Buddha and his Dhamma, the focus on the mind, the emphasis on the mind. He had made it very clear that the mind is the forerunner of all your thoughts, all your speech, and all your action. It is the mind that makes you think the way you think. It is the mind that makes you say what you say. It is the mind that makes you do what you do. It is your mind that made you come to this talk. Nobody else. You decided to come because your mind says, I must spend today in this place. Otherwise, you probably go to some other place. Though we think in different ways, we don't recognize that this is because of our mind. For a long time, people refuse to accept the concept of the mind and the importance of the mind. But today, modern science, modern medicine, experimentation, many experiments have taken place where they prove that the mind is the master, the mind is the maker. It is the mind that is now being looked into in the West. All over the world they are looking at the mind. Earlier they refused, now the experiments have proven. Also, we know because of the computer that whatever program you put in the computer, it is that program that comes out, the mind works the same way. But it is a very, very powerful, the most powerful computer ever conceivable. So imagine your mind working like a computer. If the wrong program is in your mind, what happens? Your thoughts, your speech, and your actions will be unwholesome. That's why the Buddha emphasized, cultivate your mind. Avoid evil. Do good. Cultivate the mind. Whether you are Buddhist, even if you are not Buddhist, whether you believe there is a mind, or whether you don't believe there is a mind, whether you believe that the mind is so vital, so important, so powerful, it is going to work that way. You don't have to believe that there is such a thing as mind. There is such a thing as mind-body relationship. You don't have to believe. Even if you are not a Buddhist, it will still work the same way. So that is why now the West, many intellectuals, many scientists have gone to Buddhism because this you cannot challenge. This teaching you cannot challenge. And today's world, you need to understand this because there's so much of pressure, tension, stress. Because not only the thinking process, even your well-being, your health is being affected by whatever the mind is going through. It is your stress is triggered from the mind. That is why we help you to be calm when you come to Vihara. We help you to relax. We give you free tonic because when you come to the Vihara, you are cheerful, you are happy, and you see each other, Dhammaputris and Dhammaputras, you smile, you wish each other, you are so calm, so relaxed. Then there are vibrations, so powerful vibrations here, the chanting, all these have got positive energy and it impacts on the body. We don't have much time to go into this research, but I have written all of this in my books, and there are many more researches going on. What I want you to do is to understand that by following these things, you are going to benefit yourself immediately. Not after you pass away, that's a different story. But now, immediately, even as you sit down in this hall and listen, your mind has not gone anywhere. You are not shouting at anybody. You are not stressed. You are relaxed. That is a tonic. That is free. So we encourage, or the Buddha encourage you to do all these things and participate in this community activity because you are going to benefit from it. This reality of the mind and body and the nature and condition of human beings is so important that it is in the Buddhist scriptures, the first and second verses in the Dhammapada. And the Buddha had emphasized in many suttas, but I want to share with you a few examples of how he emphasized the importance of the mind and how you must understand this, recognize this, and be able to develop yourself based on your understanding of this. It goes, by mind the world is led. The whole world is led by the mind. By mind the world is moved. Whatever is happening in the world is moved by the mind. All good and bad things exist in the world because of the mind. Our actions are all led by the mind. Mind is the master. Mind is the maker. If one speaks or acts with a defiled mind, then pain pursues him, even as the wheel follows the hoof of the ox. He used the example of the ox pulling a cart wheel to take the water. When the ox moves, the wheel also moves. So if your mind has got evil, you will only go in that direction. If your mind is pure, it will go in the other direction. And usually what happens is, the Buddha always showed the negative side first, to show, because majority of people are in the wrong direction, or thinking in the wrong way, or do not understand, or ignorant. They have ignorance of this. So he shows what actually is the reality, what is happening, then he gives the answer. If one speaks or acts with a pure state of mind, then happiness follows like a shadow that remains behind without departing. Your shadow never leaves you. Wherever you go, your shadow follows you. And the mind follows you. You can go to America. You can go under the water. You can climb the mountain. You can hide in a cave. But the mind is not going to leave you at all. Whatever you do, your mind knows that what you are doing. You can hide it from me, you can hide it from Professor Chen, you can hide it from whoever. But your mind knows. And your mind has recorded this. Everything you do from birth, it is recorded in your mind. This computer mind is the most powerful. So you can do all kinds of things, but remember, it is all recorded in your mind. And that is how the karmic effects works later on. That's a different subject, but I want to emphasize that we need to understand this aspect of the Buddha's teaching. Just one more before we go to the next point. The mind is hard to check. Very difficult to control. Always running around. That's why in Chinese they say monkey mind. The mind is like a monkey, cannot keep quiet, always moving. When I'm talking, maybe somebody is thinking, what is happening at home? Is my child gone out? Or is this happen or that happen? That's how the mind works. It goes very fast and very far. Suddenly you are thinking, maybe later thinking of the sister in Hong Kong. Oh, she's going to call me, I am not going to be able to answer the telephone call. That is how the mind works. It is so restless. Lodges wherever it attacks. And if the mind likes something, go and attach like the octopus, won't leave like the leech. Oh. To cultivate the mind is excellent. Excellent to cultivate the mind. A controlled mind brings immense happiness. If you can control your mind, you can avoid a lot of sorrow, a lot of pain, a lot of failure, a lot of suffering by controlling the mind. Because you avoid. And you use this controlled mind to have happiness, to have well-being, and to have success. I hope you had a good rest and stretch out a little bit. And also very important, mix around, talk to each other, get to know each other, become close to each other. That is important. And that's why we have this break time to allow you to mix a little bit. And become friends even outside. If you're doing some business, like I talked to you about motorcycle component, maybe some manufacturer here, and he says, oh, wonderful, why don't you come? Why do you want to go and search manufacturer when you have manufacturer in the community? He is a good Dhammaputra. So it's better to do business with your own Dhammaputra. And if he misbehaves, then you tell Dhammaputra to Chen, this one is misbehaving. He will go and knock his head and say, don't do like that. This is a community of Dhammaputra and Dhammaputri. Like that, we must network. we must learn to network. We learn this in school, we learn it in all kinds of programs, but we don't practice it in our own community. It is very sad. Coming back to the discussion. Now, I'm sorry I rushed through a lot of points. Actually, I have written a book called Mother Care and Parenting. This is a complete manual how to live a happy married life and how to bring your children up. And also, before you bring your children up, on Tai Chiao. Tai Chiao is even before the child is born, how you develop the mind of the child while the child is growing in the mother's womb. We talk so much of the mind, but we don't even understand or even think that this mind is already growing, developing in the mother's womb. Even before the baby is born, the mind is working. And when the baby is in the mother's womb, we can put in the program for the baby. And that is why the Tai Chiao is so important. Those days, the emperor in China had many clinics all over the kingdom for mothers and fathers to go and get this advice, guidance and training in Tai Chiao. Tai Chiao involves not only the physical development, but also the emotional, the psychological, the moral, the ethical and spiritual development of this unborn baby. So when the baby is born, the mind is already starting in the right direction. When the baby is small in the home, we teach how to bring up this baby in the right way, where the mind is cultivated in the home through home education. This is so important today because so much of negative influence all over the place, through the TV, how other people behave, is all in a negative way. So we need to protect the mind of this child, put in our program so that if anything negative comes in, that gets rejected. Like your computer, if something else comes in, it will reject because the program rejects it automatically. Aside from the mind, the other unique thing that we need to focus is that in terms of self-development, in terms of benefiting from the teachings of the Buddha, from the Dhamma, the Buddha emphasized, he underlined that the self is the most important aspect. The self, meaning you. You are the master. You are in the driving seat, not somebody else. You control your life. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your success. You are responsible for your well-being. You are responsible for your happiness, not some external person. All the programs that you go, even today, modern programs, they don't talk about self. That is why when we started the program, we said self-development, not personal development. Personal self-development. I will keep on emphasizing the word self because you determine your happiness. You determine your sorrow. You determine your sukha. You determine your dukkha. It is all in your hands. Once you understand the psychology that you are responsible for your success and failure, you are responsible for your well-being, you are responsible for your health, then we have a chance to actualize, to realize, to achieve whatever we want to achieve. Because if you are going to depend on some external being or some external force or some external agent, you will never realize it. I can guarantee you that. So, in the teachings of the Buddha, the self has been, like the mind, very pronounced. Very, very pronounced. And this is unique. Very unique. Most teachers, most leaders always want you to depend, be obliged, in fact, to surrender yourself to the teacher. Oh, only you can save me. Oh, only you can help me. In fact, yesterday we had a discussion. There are, a number of teachers who say, oh, you can't forget your family, forget your husband, forget your wife, forget your children. Come and surrender yourself to me and be part of my whatever organization. Renounce. The Buddha never said that. Never, never. He says, do whatever you're supposed to do. If you have a calling, if you have some kind of inspiration on your own, not because somebody asked you to do, or you want to oblige somebody, then you renounce. This is important to understand. But immediately I want you to know that if you want to be a very good manager, if you want to be a very good businessman, if you want to be a very good student, a good husband, a good wife, a good father, a good mother, it is all in your hands. And this understanding of self and self-effort, nobody else's effort, we need to emphasize. Let's see how. I've selected a few Dhammapada verses to try and illustrate to you. It is not that I am saying, these are actual teachings of the Buddha. Instantly, the translation of the first one on mine, I do not know how correct it is, but anyway, Professor Cheng has promised to change and improve. That was done by some volunteers. I do not know Mandarin, but it was many, many years ago. But we will improve these things. These are tools which we can use and our children can use on a daily basis. Remind them through posters in the house, in whatever way they are aspiring to achieve, that this is the way to do it. On self-reliance, the way forward. If you want to succeed, if you want to progress, if you want to have whatever you have set in your mind, your goal, you have to understand the teaching of the Buddha, which goes Dhammapada 165, by oneself alone is evil done. Nobody else but by oneself. By oneself is one defiled. If you have a defiled mind, it is by your own will, not by somebody else. By oneself is evil undone. If you want to do any corrections, if you want to change yourself, if you want to change your mind, if you want to remove whatever is unwholesome, which is polluted your mind, only you can do it. By oneself alone is one purified. If you want to purify your mind, it is only you who can purify your mind. Purity and impurity depend on oneself. No one can purify another. Not even the Buddha. Even I, the Buddha, he says, cannot purify you. Only you. Next one, do not depend on others. Don't depend on others for your salvation. For that matter, for anything, don't depend on others. Develop your self-confidence to gain. We will talk about self-confidence, which is very important, but now you just remember that this can only be achieved by yourself. Even the Buddha cannot give it to you. You yourself should make the effort. Very important. The effort must come from you, nobody else. And you must walk the talk. Not just talk, but walk the talk. Walk the middle path. The Buddha clearly teaches and shows you the way forward. The Buddha only teaches and shows you the way forward. You have to walk the path, the middle path, and benefit and gain. Nobody else. Whatever you do, you're not doing it for the Buddha or somebody else. You are going to gain. That confidence that whatever you do, you are going to gain should drive you, should spur you, should inspire you. This is the best way to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. It can be anything. It can be anything. Now you want to get somebody to get your patent or your product into the market. You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence. You must believe that this can take place. If you say, oh, difficult, oh, very impossible, surely you're not going to achieve it. If you start negatively, you cannot do it. But if you have confidence in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, in the Sangha, you will have the courage. You will have that extra energy, the virya, and then you will be able to achieve. Even if it is difficult, even if it is difficult, the reason why the Buddha emphasized self-reliance and self-effort and made it a point to drown this into people's mind is because of the reality of the law of karma. It is a universal, it is an eternal law. It's an eternal, universal law. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, the law of karma is working all the time. Whether you believe it or not, whether you're a Buddhist or not, the law of karma is operating. Just like the law of gravity, just like the law of magnetic law, all these laws are natural laws. We are all part of nature, and these are natural laws. It works. So you don't have to believe, but it works. The problem which the Buddha recognized was that the law of karma, the understanding even before he came, was people tended to say, oh, what to do? If you are unhappy, this is my karma. If you fail something, what to do? This is my karma. If you murdered somebody, this is my karma. They use this law of karma as an excuse. So the Buddha said, that is wrong. Law of karma doesn't mean that you are fated, that you are predestined. The law of karma is a law that operates. What happens depends on what you do and what you don't do. The law of karma is neutral. It is what you do and what you do not do that makes the difference. And it is not constant. It is in a state of flux. The ripening of good karma can happen anytime. The ripening of unwholesome karma can happen anytime. Second point, karma is, as I said, in a state of flux. It is changing. If your karma is working, ripening in a wrong direction, or an unwholesome way, or in a negative way, you can neutralize it. You can prevent the karma from taking full effect by putting in your own good karma and neutralizing it. This is science. If the water is muddy, you pour the water out and you put in new water. Fresh water. You don't just say water is muddy, I can't do anything. You can do a lot of things. So the action is important. And the type of action that you put is the type of results you are going to get. In science, they say input equals output. In your accounting, you put in something inside, it must balance on the other side. If there are costs here, you will get minus, 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 minus here in accounting. If you put plus, 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 plus here, you get a big balance. Basic laws. These are logical, rational things which we must understand and we must apply in our life. If a child just says, okay, I believe in the Buddha, I believe in the Dhamma, oh Buddha, help me pass exams, and he doesn't study, you think he's going to pass? You think he's going to pass? No, no way. The Buddha said you have to put in your input. You have to put in your effort. And if you fail, put more effort, doesn't matter. Failure is one step to success. Everybody fails, even the Buddha failed so many times. Until finally he was able to succeed. So, we must have a right understanding of the law of karma. Not just knowing the law of karma. And very often, even today, very often, many people just surrender themselves to the law of karma and say, let the law of karma. If good happen, law of karma working. If bad happen, law of karma working. That is an excuse which we should not encourage. The classical case of how to illustrate the operation or the working of the law of karma, during the time of Buddha, there was this Angulimala. I do not know how many of you know who Angulimala is. Angulimala was a serial killer. He murdered so many people because he was misled by his teacher. And his guru, the teacher, asked him to make a chain or a necklace of human fingers. So he went on murdering. But the Buddha was able to transform him, completely transform him to become a changed person. A murderer, a serial killer, not one, but so many people, over nearly 100 over people, and he was transformed. He became a monk and he was able to attain arahanthood. If you can change your karma in such a fashion, surely we are not going to be pressed by whatever little small unwholesome karma that might be happening. So this is a classic example which I developed to illustrate to children particularly how they can transform themselves. This whole book was published page by page in the Sri Lankan newspaper because they want children to read this kind of lessons from the time of the Buddha, true lessons, and learn from these lessons. We need to do that instead of reading some comic. So they agreed and they printed the whole book, page by page. What I want you to recognize is that we have less unwholesome karma than Angulimala. So if we want to change our karma, we can change it much more easily. It is not so difficult. So you must believe, you must have the confidence, the saddha, in that you have the ability to change whatever karma that you have. And there are so many other examples in the life of the Buddha as well as throughout the history of Buddhist civilization, how karma has been changed. Emperor Asoka, he completely changed. He was killing and conquering so many countries around the place until he renounced killing, completely renounced and transformed himself. There are many, many wonderful, true stories, true illustrations. We must have the confidence in the truth of the Dhamma and believe in the Dhamma and benefit from this by strengthening our own Sraddha in the Dhamma through these real life examples. This morning we started a little bit late, so we didn't have time to go through some of these points. So quickly I want to cover the point on well-being. We said we want to focus on personal self-development in terms of success, well-being and happiness. In terms of well-being, we have number of teachings of the Buddha, but very basic daily teaching is Panchasila, taking the 5 precepts. We recite the 5 precepts, but more important than reciting is we must practice and practice and practice the 5 precepts. 5 precepts basically, I think many of you are familiar, but I go through very fast. It is not to kill, or even better, not to even harm, ahimsa, not to even harm any living being. Volitionally not to kill, thinkingly not to kill. If by accident, it's a different story. Then not to tell lies, not to abuse your senses. Normally what happens is, when they say musavada, they think in terms of sexual misconduct. But the Buddha did not focus on sexual misconduct alone. The Buddha recognized that we have sense doors. So don't abuse your eyes, sight. Don't abuse your ears. Don't abuse your tongue, your mouth. In other words, don't abuse all your sense doors. Not sexual misconduct alone. Because he emphasized the middle path. If you start eating because you like something, what will happen? You will abuse your body and you will have lots of problems. So that's why he covered everything up, including telling lies and also not taking intoxicants. Intoxicants means not just liquor, but all types of drugs that can make you not think clearly. Anything that you take which is going to make you not think in a balanced way so that it will affect your behavior and your speech, don't even try. Don't even try. Even small drink also don't take. Because fire, if it is a small fire, matchstick also will burn. So just one drink also slowly will become 2 drinks, then become 3 drinks, then become compile, and then you lose your senses. And when you lose your senses, your thinking, your behavior, your speech is affected. That's the reason, no other reason. It is not going to help you, it's not going to make you think clearly. Going back to the mind. If your mind is now not able to think clearly, don't do it. That's why he says that. The other thing is, and that's the basic thing to take care of your body. If you do these basic things, if you follow, if you observe these basic things, you will be protecting your body. You will be taking care of your body very well. That is the reason. The second aspect was, we talked about the mind. After taking care of the body in terms of Panchasila, we follow also the middle path. Avoid certain things which is definitely bad for you. Don't even try. And certain things in moderation. In moderation. That is the middle path. Or look it in another way, don't do anything that is harmful to you. And don't do anything that is harmful to somebody else. This is the basic teachings in the sutta that the Buddha taught his own son, Rahula. Rahula, don't do anything that is going to be harmful to you or to somebody else. If the thing is good for you and also good for others, please do more and more and more. That is the way the Buddha taught. Very simple. Any child can understand. And adults will surely understand. Very simple. And who's going to benefit? You are going to benefit. That belief you must have. That ultimately you are going to benefit. So after looking after the body, the Buddha didn't stop there. You have to cultivate the mind. So for cultivation of the mind, he promoted samadhi, mental cultivation. And once you develop this mental cultivation, you will get prajna or prajna, which means wisdom. And this wisdom is not just knowledge or intelligence, but insight. You are able to see things very clearly. And your mind is very focused, very calm, very penetrating. This is what he did and this is what he recommended. So to develop samadhi and prajna, you have to follow the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is a very, very comprehensive, holistic method of developing your mind, and then you have both your mind and your body in a perfect state. So you had a good rest, good lunch, and had some time to meet with each other, get to know each other, and exchange some views, ideas, and get support and inspiration from each other. That is good. So we come back to more serious business. We finish about how to take care of the body and to take care of your health. Because in personal self-development, not just becoming successful businessman or successful student or successful manager, successful industrialist, you must also take care of your body. If your body is not in a good condition, all the success is no use. So health is very important. Not just wealth. You must also take care of your health. So we have given some guidelines just before lunch on how to be well. And the Buddhist concept of being well is just not getting sick. It's more than just not getting sick. You must be in a right mental frame as well, so that your wellness is a complete wellness. Even if your body is not sick, sometimes you are not well. You're not well because lot of disturbance, lot of frustration, lot of tension, lot of anxiety, lot of stress. So that is very important. After taking care of your body and your wellness, we are also very interested in our happiness. Now, what is happiness? Happiness to different people is different things. Some people feel that if they become a millionaire, then they can be happy. Some people feel that if they can become the first in everything, then they are happy. Some people feel that if they have power, they have political power or military power or some kind of strength and power, then they are happy. So different people have different ideas, different expectation, different understanding of happiness. The happiness that the Buddha taught is a wonderful formula that is applicable to the whole world. It applies to the whole world. For example, if you are a millionaire, you have 10 million US dollars. You think you are happy. You want to have 100 million. I give you 100 million US dollars. You want to have 1 billion US dollars. Never happy. You have a big property, you have a lot of wealth, you want more wealth. But the world today, that is how they look. If they feel that they get more and more and more material things, they will be happy. That is what we have been taught from small. That is what the Western world has made our Eastern values completely upside down. In Eastern values, in China, in India, they didn't think in terms of wealth as happiness. They didn't think in terms of power as happiness. They had happiness in being better human beings. And the Buddha taught the best way of being happy is to be contented. You must be contented. If you are contented, you will be happy. Otherwise, you are chasing behind a shadow. You cannot catch this shadow. Enough is not enough. You want more and more and more because of your tanha, because of your craving. We all have cravings, but the Buddha said, moderation. Be contented. Be happy with what you have. If you can get more, okay. If you can't, be happy, be satisfied, be contented. So we need to develop this value in ourselves. Don't be unhappy because you didn't get absolutely what you want. But be happy with what you have. And we are very, very fortunate. We are very fortunate. First thing is we are born human beings. That already is a plus for you. There are many beings who are not human beings. They are in a terrible state, particularly the animal world, the Tirisana world, and the Pereta world, and all kinds of other worlds of woeful existence. They are in very, very great suffering. You are lucky. You have a chance to learn the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma, and then be contented and be happy. So, be very grateful that you have this opportunity and be contented like that. Always smiling. That is the symbol of contentment. Because the Buddha is contented, you always find a smiling face in the Buddha. So always remember, if you are contented, you automatically can smile. You can be cheerful. You cannot be like this grumpy, always complaining, always unhappy, unsatisfied, quarreling all the time. Cannot. Impossible. So when those who follow the Buddha's teaching, the Dhammaputtris and Dhammaputras, they also can smile. See how wonderful your smile is. And when somebody smiles, you also feel. You can feel the cheerfulness. And it is very infectious. You also smile. When you wish each other Sukhi Hotu, smile. Smile automatically. This is how we live the Dhamma. This is how we breathe the Dhamma. This is how we practice the Dhamma. Every time, daily. And we must always get the inspiration. It is there, but we must get it. We must use it so that we can benefit from it ourselves. Now we come to the important subject. Ananda, you talk success, well-being, happiness. How can we get it? When I want to cook a nice recipe, I must use nice ingredients, wonderful spices, so that the dish becomes tasty. Similarly, when you want to have success, when you want to have wellness or well-being, and when you want to have happiness, you must know how. And the Buddha taught a lot of things how to get this. And this is referred to as ingredients. I use the word ingredients because make it happen. When you cook something, you must put the sauce, ketchup, and this sauce and that sauce, and it becomes tasty. Similarly with this. Now the first ingredient we need to look at, we need to use is Shraddha. Shraddha in Pali Sanskrit, in Pali it is Sattva. And in Sanskrit it is Shraddha. This is a very, very, very vital ingredient to achieve what we have been talking this morning. Shraddha means confidence or faith or belief. But the Shraddha the Buddha taught is very special. It is a Shraddha not based on blind faith. The Buddha didn't say just follow blindly, but with understanding. Today, and of course, even earlier, there are many teachers who say, you just follow me, you don't ask anything. You just say, just do what I say. Don't question, don't ask. Just follow blindly. That is dangerous. And all over the world, you find many leaders, many religious teachers, even so powerful their influence, they make the followers drink poison and do things which you and I won't normally do. But because they don't think, and because they don't understand, and they follow blindly, they go and commit all these things. Very many cases, some few decades ago, there was Reverend Jim Jones in Guyana. Real cases. He made all his followers drink poison and said they can go to heaven if they just drink the poison. And then he died like that. Even today, not so serious, but they do teach all kinds of funny things. Oh, renounce, forget your husband, forget your wife, come and join me, this, that, and the other. Don't just simply blindly follow. The Buddha said, don't follow. Even what I teach, question what I teach. Investigate. Find out for yourself. Experience, experiment these things. So, Shraddha that the Buddha taught is based on not blind faith, but faith based on understanding. Once you have this confidence, there are many things you can achieve. For example, just to illustrate, if you want to climb the mountain, and you see the mountain, oh, it is so high, oh, it is so hot, oh, there is no steps. How am I going to climb this mountain and go to the top? If you start with this negative mind, no confidence, oh, I'm too weak, I'm too old, I do not know mountain climbing, you can never climb the mountain. So whatever you do, you must develop this positive mind. Many teachers, many trainers use this point, but they don't say that it is Shraddha, they say positive mental thought. They just say positive mental thought. But actually, the Buddha taught this in a more holistic way, and he said Shraddha. Shraddha. So when you go for other training programs, they talk about positive mental thought, positive thought. This is the root of it. They don't use the Buddha's word, but this is the root of it. So when you want to do something, you invoke your confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Once you invoke, you get inspiration, you get courage, you get the confidence to do. Because you believe in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. We discussed this morning, the Buddha is the greatest teacher. There is no question about it. The Dhamma is akalika. It applies across time and space. Anywhere in the world, it is applied. Anytime in history, it will apply. And the Sangha also be, because this is an order of disciples from the Buddha. So we invoke, that's why in our practice, many practices we have, the first thing we do is we invoke our belief, our faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. When you have Shraddha, you have belief in yourself, you have confidence in yourself, you have faith in yourself, that you can do, that you will do, that you will succeed. But before you can succeed, before you want to succeed, you must have an aspiration. It sounds a big word, aspiration, or expectation. You must have that. You must have an aspiration. You must want to have that goal. If you don't have that aspiration, then there's nothing for you to aim. So you must aim at something. In English it is referred to as aspiration. Now this aspiration, I want to be the best ballerina. I want to be the most successful student. I want to be the top manager in my organization, the best salesman in my organization. You want and you have this aspiration. But aspiration by itself is like a dream. You just dream only. Aspiration must be followed with viraya. Just aspiring, oh, it's like a wish. Just because you wish, it won't happen. You must put energy. Viraya is energy. And this energy is very positive energy. If you don't put in energy, you would not move any forward. So aspiration, you aspire, you wish for something, and you put your energy. The third one is, you must have determination. You must have determination, resolve. And this resolve is not half-hearted resolve. Oh, I will try and do. Maybe I can do. Maybe I'll try a little bit. No! It should be firm. It should be unshakable. It should be very strong. So that whatever obstacle, whatever difficulty, you will still continue. You will still try. Not because it's raining, oh, I cannot go out. Raining, you take an umbrella. So simple. Like that, aspiration must be followed with viraya, energy, positive energy, and then you must have the resolve to continue until you achieve your goal. If you don't have these things, it will be very difficult. So these are some of the main things the Buddha had taught for us in everyday life. In everyday life, you want to be a wonderful wife? Follow this. You want to be a wonderful father? Follow this. In any status in life, this applies. These ingredients of Shraddha, Aditthana, Viraya, and firm resolve is not theory. This is not theory. These are based on actual facts, based on historical facts, based on what actually the Buddha as Prince Siddhartha achieved. When you look at the life of Siddhartha Sakyamuni, you will find these things very evident. So I am not talking about something which is imagined or which just I formulate as a theory, but based on actual fact. Now I'd like to take you quickly on using or focusing on Siddhartha, Prince Siddhartha, as a role model. The life of Siddhartha itself is a Dhamma. Because he lived this life according to what we discussed, he was able to achieve Bodhi. If he did not follow all those things, if he did not apply all those ingredients, he would not have achieved. Now, where and how can we find that insight into how he had been able to achieve Bodhi? First of all, we know that when he was born, from the time he was born, he had a spiritual aspiration. That we all know. We all have aspiration. But that aspiration did not just simply make him the Buddha. And his aspiration, his spiritual impulse was triggered off by 4 visualizations. The 4 sights are 4 visualizations. The old man, the sick man, the dead corpse, and the samana. The first 3 visualizations gave him an insight into what is dukkha. He realized, in fact, he was shocked. He was traumatized when he saw the old man, the sick man, and the dead corpse. He realized that this is life, that he and all his loved ones will go through this jara marana, these sufferings. And he was living in such a luxurious lifestyle. He never felt any hardship. He never felt any difficulty or sorrow. But this he saw and he was shocked. Now, I just want to share some insights into the life of Siddhartha. In the traditional presentation, normally they say that Siddhartha saw the sights and then for the first time, and then he had the aspiration to go forth to become a samana, and then he left the palace. Siddhartha did not see the old man for the first time. He did not experience old age for the first time. Siddhartha is a bodhisattva. Sakyamuni is a bodhisattva. So he is not an ordinary person. He is a very intelligent, knowledgeable, more than ordinary person. He is 29 years old. When you are young and you are 29, you know your body has changed. He was close to nature. He has seen trees fall down. He has seen flowers wither away. He knows what is aging. He knows what is growing old. His father is 29 years older from the time that he was born till he saw the old man. But for simplicity, when they wrote the life of Siddhartha 500 years ago, after he passed away, for simplicity they just wrote this happened, this happened, this happened. Also the Buddha made it the point not to write too much about his life, but to write about his teachings. To write about his teachings more than about his life. That's why the life of the Buddha or life of Sakyamuni Siddhartha is not very detailed in the historical record. But you must understand and you must appreciate that this is not the first time he saw. But this is the first time he was shocked. This is the first time he was traumatized. Many of you have read about Newton, Isaac Newton, who discovered gravity. Now, gravity has been there. Not that it's the first time that Newton saw gravity. That's not the first time gravity took place. Gravity has always been there. But when he sat under the apple tree and the apple fell, at that moment it struck him. Why is this apple falling and not going up? At that moment, that happens. It is called a stimulus response. In the case of Siddhartha, it's a traumatic stimulus response. When he saw the old man for the first time, it shocked him. That is important to understand. Apples have been falling even before Newton experienced that. Then you have the case of Archimedes. Those who know science, Archimedes discovered specific gravity. The king asked him to please prove that this crown is made of gold and some other things. Although the crown's weight is the same as pure gold, but the king suspected that something is wrong there. And he tried to solve this problem. So one day, he went to bathe in his bathtub. Those days they didn't have shower. No heater, nothing. They bathed in the bathtub. And when he went into the bathtub, there was water overflowed from the bathtub. And Eureka! He said, Eureka! And he ran out naked because he was so excited that he discovered that whatever his body density is the same as the water displaced from the bathtub. From that day onwards, we have discovered specific gravity. Specific gravity is the density based on space and weight. Before that also there was specific gravity. But at that moment, when he was in deep thought and he experienced, it struck him. This is it. There are many people who have seen a dead chicken when they cut the chicken head and the chicken head is moving around with blood and they don't want to eat meat anymore. Even today, they see the flesh of meat hung on the hook, they get so disgusted, they don't want to eat meat. These are traumatic experiences. So what happened actually was Siddhartha experienced a trauma that triggered the response. At the last sight, where he saw a samana, a very serene, calm, contented monk, walking on the track in the countryside, he was drawn, he was attracted to this samana. He said to himself, how come he is so calm, so peaceful, so contented, yet he has nothing? He has nothing, only a begging bowl and just a robe. How is he so serene? This must be the way. I must find out how he is able to be so happy and contented. I have all the riches, I have all the luxuries, but I know that life is going to be not the same forever. And that is what drove him to leave the palace and search for the ultimate answer to end dukkha and find the path to sukha. Time reflecting by himself in the palace, in the garden, in the lakeside, in the room. Even when Yasodhara is beside him, he is physically, body is there, but she knows his mind is somewhere else. His mind is thinking all the time now how to find his way out of dukkha and how to find sukha, eternal bliss, and how to achieve bodhi, which is the answer to this. So, when he had this aspiration, he was already ready to go. But when he saw the samana, the aspiration was gone and he decided to go. Normally, I want to share another insight on the Sakyamuni story. Normally, they say that Sakyamuni left the palace in the middle of the night, even without saying goodbye to Yasodhara and the baby, newborn baby. That is not the character, that is not the personality, that is not the nature of a bodhisattva. A bodhisattva is a supreme being. He does not have to leave the palace in that way. Second point is, he loved Yasodhara, Yasodhara loved him. They knew each other even as children because they were related. They were first cousins. She is from the neighboring kingdom, Koila family. And they used to, like you come and visit each other, the uncles and cousins meet. Those days also they used to meet when they were young. And they loved each other, and he chose her as his wife. After marrying, we know when we marry, our wives know us only too well. They know when we are happy, they know when we are sad, they know when we are angry, they know when we are in a bad mood. So Yasodhara knows Siddhartha is not happy at all, that he is contemplating all the time. And when they discuss and he says, I want to leave and find a way to Sukha and attain Bodhi and find a way to Sukha, Yasodhara said, yes, go. You please go. I know you will never be happy being in the palace. And I don't want you to live this kind of a life. You have a mission. This is an opportunity for you to go forward. The only difference is that normally in India, you leave your home at the fourth stage in your life. The first stage, you're a youngster, you learn everything. Second stage, you get married. Third stage, you have family, look after the family. Fourth stage, you go and renounce. It is quite normal practice to go forward. But here is a young man who is going to be a prince, and not only that, going to be a Raja Chakravarti or Chakravarti Raja, a king of kings, who wants to renounce. That is unique. That is unusual. And Yasodhara says, I want two promises from you. First promise is, I want a baby from you. Because when you leave, I will feel so empty. I will feel so lonely. There will be a void. And at least the baby will make me feel your presence. So please, I want a baby before you leave. Please leave, but I want a baby. Second promise, I want you to leave the day, the night the baby is born. Because I know that if you don't leave on that night, you will get very attached. That is a normal feeling for any father or any mother for a child. They get attached. And when they get attached, then you don't feel like going. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to come to this stage and then, give up your aspiration. So please leave. And this was the understanding. And that is why Siddhartha left the day, the night that the baby was born. So I have spent quite some time, and I went deep into the story and tried to be Siddhartha, to be Yasodhara, to be Suddhodana and everybody else, and brought some very deep insights into the Siddhartha story. The reason why I took this trouble to try and bring to life, as you read the book, you bring to life, it's as though you are alive there. You are seeing and feeling and witnessing. It's because in Taiwan, in Cambodia, in Sri Lanka, in Thailand, a number of other religious people are going around saying to young children, very young children, who do not know anything, who are so influenced by whatever you say, do you love your father? The child will say, yes, of course I love my father. You love your father very much? Yes, I love my father very much. Okay, if you love your father very much and your father leaves you and your mother, how would you feel? Oh, I will be very angry with my father. I will never forgive him. I will be very, 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 very angry. No forgiveness. Then the judge said, this is what Sakyamuni did. He left his wife and son and left. So why are you following Sakyamuni? Follow our religion. Our religion, the leader loves all the children, loves everybody, and will save everybody. What can a child answer? A child can't answer to this. So we need to now present the Siddhartha Sakyamuni story in the true way, so that our children will understand and be able to respond in the right way. Even adults sometimes, without knowledge and without thinking, they also fall into this trap. So I took some trouble because of that, and I thought we must all now prepare ourselves so that this does not happen to our children and to our other Dharmaputris and Dharmaputras. So Sakyamuni left the palace on the day his son was born, and he wished his son, or rather the word is Asirvada, he blessed his son before leaving the palace, and he said, I will find the path to Bodhi and be able to save you and all your loved ones, your mother and all your loved ones from dukkha. After finding the path to sukha, I will come and unravel this. So with that blessing, he left the palace. That is the way we have to see the Sakyamuni going forth to achieve Bodhi. Now, having left the palace and he went in search for Bodhi, the first thing, what did he do? He had the Shraddha that he will be able to achieve Bodhi. He believed in himself. He had the strong Shraddha. If he did not have Shraddha, he would never dare leave the palace. Why should he leave the palace if he is enjoying so much of luxury and so much of pleasure? Because he had Shraddha, he went forward. I know I will succeed, and I am courageous and brave enough to leave the palace. The second point is, as soon as he crossed the Anoma river after riding across the kingdom and other kingdoms, he crossed the Anoma river and went to the other bank. The first thing he did was take his beautiful hair in one hand and his sword in the other hand, and he cut off his beautiful waving hair. And he said, Aditana is no use unless you act upon it. You can have Aditana, but you must act on it. Aspiration by itself is no use. It's like a dream, as we said earlier on. So he acted on it. He cut his hair, he shaved his eyebrows, then he put on his robe, which Yasodhara Devi had already prearranged and gave to him before he departed. With her blessings, he departed. That is important in terms of Aditana. And you must remember that this is how Siddhartha himself, in a role model, the best role model for success, well-being and happiness is Siddhartha. He himself did these things. Then when he went in search for masters in the forest, he studied under many great teachers during his time. And he excelled and he perfected until his two very principal teachers, Alara Kalama and Ramaputra, said, we have nothing more to teach you. This is all we can teach. And he realized that he cannot depend on his teachers alone, and he must still continue to go on searching for Bodhi. Normally, you and I would have been very happy to attain that level. He is already now a Muni, a sage, and become an Arahant. But his goal is His adipana is to find Bodhi, to attain Bodhi. And he did not want to be resting until he attained Bodhi. So his Shraddha said, no, I must go on some more. I must keep on trying until I attain Bodhi. What did he do? He tried so many experiments until he also came across an experiment where they had the practice of extreme asceticism, self-mortification. You torture your body and you make all kinds of penance for your body until you are not able to stand anymore, because that was one tradition. And he followed that tradition until he became just mere skin and bones. And one day he collapsed at the bank of the Niranjana river and nearly drowned because he was no more strength to even crawl to safety. And as he sat down, he heard some music. And the musician was playing an instrument, a string instrument, while he was ferried by a boatman across the river. The sound of the music was not very pleasant because the strings were very loose and it is going. It's not music. Then the musician tightened the string very tight. Then he played the music again, and this time it was also not music. And suddenly the string burst. Siddhartha Sakyamuni observed this. He observed this. If the string is loose, no good music. If the string is tight, also no good music. The middle part. I should not follow this self-mortification. I should take the middle part. I must take care of my body. We have been talking about body. I must take care of my body so that my body is strong. And then I can aspire. Also, when he reflected and when he thought and he contemplated at this very critical moment, he realized that he has to depend on himself. He cannot depend on any teacher. He must find Bodhi or realize Bodhi through his self-effort, through his self-reliance, and no other way. So he himself, Sakyamuni himself, followed self-reliance and self-effort. And he went on practicing on his own this time. And he realized that he must now depend on perfecting his mind. He has gone through all the tests, but the mind still little bit kilesa, little bit more defilement. Yes, a little bit, even that he must conquer or remove. So on his own, he started meditating and perfecting meditation again and again and again. And finally, he says, okay, now, I must remove even that little bit kilesa. And so he went to Gaya, Buddha Gaya. And he sat under the oak tree. What did he say? I will not get up from the foot of this Bodhi tree until I attain Bodhi. Even if my body was to disintegrate, I will not get up. That was the resolution. That was the resolve. Unshakable. Siddhartha Sakyamuni Siddhartha went through this. And because of his resolve, he was able to face Mara. Mara is not a person. Mara is a symbolism, a metaphor for all the negative influences that come from outside and within ourselves and take us away from the right path. And this is how Siddhartha was able to even overcome that little bit of disturbance. And then he attained enlightenment. And he smiled. And he was able to unravel the Dhamma. This Dhamma he unraveled. So in the Sakya Muni story itself, life story itself, you find what we discussed today. Every of the things that we discussed is based on actual historical fact. So if you're looking for a role model, don't look for anywhere else. He attained Bodhi. We are not asking you to attain Bodhi. What we are asking you to is attain very much simpler things. We want our children to do well in their exams, not become a Buddha. We want you to be a successful career person. We want you to be a happy father, a happy mother, happy family. These are very mundane compared to what Sakya Muni achieved. If Sakya Muni followed this formula, this guide, and attained Bodhi, if you follow this guide, it is so much simpler and so much easier to achieve your own goal or objectives in life. So one of the important lessons we learn from Sakya Muni's own personal experience and role is the lesson of the middle path, the middle way. And we had earlier on in the morning and afternoon also see the yin and yang diagram. There must be a balance in your life. In whatever you do, always find a balance. Don't go to the extreme. And this balance is what is lacking in the world today. If you look at the world all around, there is no balance. So everything has gone topsy-turvy. So we have an answer. And the answer is to follow the middle path. Now, having discussed all of this, we find that even after he attained enlightenment, he was doubting. The Buddha doubted whether he can preach the Dhamma, teach the people the Dhamma, because he was not sure that people will understand and follow. Until his Shraddha said, yes, I will go out and spread the Dhamma. At least a few people will understand, practice and benefit from the Dhamma. So he left Gaya and went all across northeastern India on foot, from village to village, from town to town, from country to country, thousands of miles, and spread the Dhamma. Because he spread the Dhamma, you and I are very fortunate to be able to learn the Dhamma and practice the Dhamma. That is the Shraddha, that is what Sakya Muni had given to us in terms of our own benefits, because his own purpose was to help humankind to be able to face dukkha and attain sukha, or find the path to sukha. Now, having understood all of this, we need to now see some of the methods and techniques that we can use today in everyday life. How to use all that we discuss. What techniques can we use to apply the teachings of the Buddha in our own aspirations, our own development, and our own success, well-being, and happiness. The first thing we can immediately widely used and which is being used by other people, although they don't ascribe, they don't credit the Buddha, is the visualization technique. The visualization technique is very popular today. Many trainers of sports, particularly, many trainers of personal self-development use this visualization technique. But where do you find the origin of this visualization technique? The origin is when Sakyamuni visualized old age. When the visions of old age, sickness and death kept bombarding on his mind, kept constantly coming out in his mind, and made him contemplate that this is the reality of life and you have to find a way to overcome. That was the visualization technique. And when he saw the samana, that was the way out of dukkha and to find a way to sukha. So this visualization technique which the Buddha used, Sakyamuni used, during his own lifetime, we have to apply our daily life. How do we apply this? First thing is we train ourselves and we also train our children. Every night and every morning, just 1 minute or 5 minutes, just close the eyes and visualize. If we train our children to visualize themselves with a motor hat and a scroll and a graduate gown, they will keep on aspiring to get this goal. We must use this technique. If you want to be very successful in anything that we want to be, we have to visualize. Visualize first. What is it that you want? You want to be successful in your career, you have to visualize the goal. Once you visualize, then you make effort to actualize. If you don't visualize, if you don't have an aspiration, there is nothing for you to aim. Nothing to aim. So you also will just drift like the water in the stream. No aim, no purpose, no goal. But visualization will make you, and every day if you do it and put the period, put the resolution, effort, put the result, you will attain it. So it's a very simple technique which we must put into practice in the home. And I have done this in many places. Just train your children 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes every day. Very simple. The other one is to actualize excellence. We have recognized, we have understood that each of our children and we ourselves have got talents and skills. But these talents and skills can be enhanced, can come up to excellence. If you can bring up to excellence, that is a great achievement. If you are an artist, you must excel in whatever you draw. If you are a singer, excel in whatever you sing. That will give you the drive to reach the optimum. And the exercise is very, very simple, very effective. Very effective. We don't have the posters, but we will produce these posters and we will share with you. You can pin these posters up for yourself and for your children and for your loved ones, even if not your children, but in your extended family. We give them these guidelines. Have a poster and make them either in the morning or in the night, or both in the morning and night preferably, to recite, to pledge, to bring their mind, just be calm for a while, not 1 hour, just a couple of minutes, and pledge to themselves, make the resolution themselves. I pledge and pledge every day to develop their Shraddha. The first step is they must develop their Shraddha. It is, we have noticed, we have recognized, we have understood, we have learned that Shraddha is the driving force that make you go forward and achieve what you want to achieve. But Shraddha you cannot buy from a shop. You cannot order from a shop, this Shraddha. You have to develop it from within yourself. The parents can't give Shraddha to the children. They can influence the children by their own Shraddha, but the children must also develop their own Shraddha. And the best technique, and very simple, doesn't cost much, it doesn't take much time, is the daily Shraddha affirmation. You affirm your Shraddha. And what you do is, either in front of the altar, or you even have a poster of the Buddha, and you pledge. Bring your mind to focus on the Buddha. Reflect on all the things that we have discussed today in terms of how we succeeded, and you pledge yourself an enlightened and compassionate Buddha. I pledge to follow with unwavering determination the sublime Dhamma you have equipped to humankind. As I grow up in life, I will progressively strengthen my Shraddha in the three Ratana, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. I will always show my profound love for my most beloved parents. I will pay due respect to my teachers and elders. I will extend freely, most noble teacher, my metta to all beings. I will forever aspire first to achieve personal self-development and progress as I strive earnestly to be worthy example of your fragrant personality and eternal Dhamma. So this child and you yourself, individually or even collectively, if you can do it collectively in your house, it will be a wonderful daily practice to strengthen your Shraddha in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. For children, it is a wonderful way to bring them up, to honor, to respect their parents and the teachers. Once this is established, this child will then grow up to follow the teachings of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. And when he follows all these teachings, all these practices, you can expect him to be successful, and you can expect him to be well, you can expect him to be happy. The reason why we do this practice is because even modern science, modern research have proven this is how the mind works. If you keep on telling your mind these pledges, the mind will actualize. The mind will want to actualize. Actualize means make it real, make it happen. If you don't do it, the mind will not go in that direction, and you would not find it easy to achieve. So these practices we have to develop ideally from small. When the child is small, if you do these practices, automatically the child learns. But even if the child is grown up, and even for you as adults, this same effect will take place. You will find the benefits. Now, we also recognize that each of us and our children have got skills and talents. They vary from child to child, they vary from person to person. But more important than knowing that is how to excel, how to bring to the optimum level each of these skills and talents. And that is a technique we refer to as actualizing excellence. In anything that you do and in everything that you do, you can excel. And you can excel by trying to follow or by following this particular pledge again every morning and every night before you go to bed. When you go to bed with these thoughts, these aspirations, these pledges, these auto-suggestions, in psychology it is referred as auto-suggestions. You suggest to your mind and your mind will actualize. The Buddha had discovered this. Trainers like Napoleon Hill come out with statements like, what your mind conceives, you can achieve. They copy, but they never tell it is from the Buddha. They copy all this from the Buddha. So, in the drill or technique of self-actualization, again, we make the pledge. Bring the mind to focus on the Buddha and pledge to yourself that I pledge to live my life to the fullest potential by utilizing my innate genius. Each one has got some genius, some ability, some potential, some skills and talents. Skills, creative abilities, talents, knowledge, and above all, the unlimited powers of the mind. The mind has got unlimited powers. Modern psychologists, modern scientists say that we are only using a small fraction of the mind. The Buddha had already discovered the power of the mind. The mind is so powerful that you can develop it to much higher levels. We have not developed our minds to the highest level. There are many possibilities available to us, provided we put our mind to it and we make it happen. I fully commit myself to view life realistically and to pursue it with a sense of purpose and accomplishment. This I will realize through the cultivation of a positive mental culture. In fact, we must add the word self. Positive mental self-culture. Nobody is going to develop it. You have to develop it yourself. As extolled by the most enlightened and compassionate teacher, the Buddha, you draw inspiration from the Sakyamuni. Then, depending on what you are, if you are a father, you say the way your father would say. If you are a mother, the way the mother, or if you are a child, you say the way the child should say. My concern and role in life is that of being a devoted family member. As a son, you say as a son. As a daughter, brother, sister, father, mother, whichever applies. You can make that pledge. Accordingly, I will constantly show my love and responsibility towards my family and strive to make each day more joyful for them and myself. You pledge that. You owe it to them. As a loving and caring family member, I promise to contribute my time and energy for the enhancement of my family's progress and happiness. I firmly resolve to develop myself fully by following the sublime Dhamma of cultivating wholesome human values and face all challenges and opportunities in life with a positive mind. Pledge this and practice pledging this every day, and you would be able to realize greater potentials, greater heights of achievements in whatever you endeavor. Doesn't matter what you endeavor in. Even if you want to be very good in sports, this is the way to do it. We have discussed a lot of things together today. We have shared a lot of things together. But the most important thing is to put it into practice. Just knowing about these things is not going to bring any benefits or any change. You should now go back, share this knowledge, share these techniques, share these wonderful methods of self-improvement, self-development, of success, of happiness, of well-being with your immediate family, with your neighbors, with your friends, with anybody you can. And you will benefit from it and they will also benefit. And this is our message to you. The other thing is, I want you to spend some time, just sit down quietly and reflect for a while. This is something that we need to also develop as Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris. Today, we are very fortunate that we are born as human beings. We must be grateful that we are so fortunate to be human beings. And there is so much of joy, there is so much of potential, there is so much of possibilities that we can achieve as human beings to be happy, successful and well. We have to be grateful to our parents who brought us up in this wonderful way and gave us an opportunity to be what we are. If not for what they have done, if not for their sacrifices, maybe our lives won't be so wonderful as it is. We have been fortunate to have the opportunity to learn and benefit from the Dhamma. Those who have organized this function and organized this organization, Mr. Chen and all his other wonderful Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris who have made this kind of center possible for the benefit of all other Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris, and those who are not yet Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris. We feel grateful to you for all your effort and all your energy and the time that you have given. May you attain Nibbana. May you be blessed for all this wonderful effort. And may you redouble your energy, redouble your commitment, redouble your inspiration, and even do bigger things in years to come. May you all join together and help in whatever possible way out of gratitude for the wonderful things that have been provided to you. May you be well and happy. May your parents be well and happy. May your children be well and happy. May all your loved ones be well and happy. May all living beings will be well and happy. Sukhi Hotu. Usually what happens is, we talk, Professor talk, I talk, we didn't give chance for you to talk or ask questions. And there is no time. But today, we are giving you time to ask questions. You want to make any comments, you can make any comments. You want to make any affirmation, you want to make any resolve. It is a joy for us to listen to your affirmation, to your resolve, and your commitment. Because there is joy. There is great joy in living the Dhamma. There is great benefit to gain from practicing the Dhamma. There is great joy in spreading the Dhamma. There is no greater joy than letting others benefit from the Dhamma. This is the teachings of the Buddha. The greatest joy, the greatest gift is the gift of the Dhamma. So please feel free, we are a family. As far as I am concerned, we are all one big family. And feel like family, live like family, and do everything together like family. Please ask anything or make any comments you like. How to live a happy married life. That is going to mean I have to come back again. It is going to be 4 sessions. So we have to start from another day. Today is not possible in one sentence or the other. We discussed this in an earlier program in Taipei. And that took 4 sessions. But it is there. In written form, it is in this book. All the details are here. Thank you for asking the question. So a quick reply is bring the Dhamma, bring the understanding of the Dhamma and apply the Dhamma to not only how to have a better relation with your other half, but your relationship with your own self. Your own self. You have to start with your own self. We don't understand ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we do things we regret. Sometimes we do things we do not mean. Sometimes we say things and we do not know how to put it back. Because the word has already left the mouth. Cannot put it back. But if we understand ourselves, if we are mindful, if we are heedful, if we follow the Dhamma, we won't say some things we don't mean. And we will be thinking in the right way. Because the Dhamma and the development of your mind through the understanding of Dhamma make sure that your thoughts, your speech, and your actions are not going to be regretful. It will be positive. So you start there. Once you start there, then the second stage only you can enter. Without understanding the first stage, you are going to have a lot of problems. Second stage is you must recognize that you are dealing with a entirely different personality. If I am the husband or boyfriend, I must recognize that my girlfriend or my wife is completely a different person and a completely different personality. I must recognize that first. If I don't recognize that first, if I want her to be like me, then we are going to have problems. Very obvious problems. From understanding from that, we must understand that we are going into a partnership. So we went through details of these things. If I go on like this, maybe tonight you have to provide dinner for you to stay back and listen. But we will have this very good question another time, not today. Only a quick response to that. Basic steps. But we will go into details another time. Mr. Chen, okay? Another time we organize how to live a married life, happy married life, and how to bring a wholesome family, wholesome, happy family. This is a very, very important question. Very important question because all over the world, they have this problem. Particularly in modern lifestyle. Big problem. Happy married life and family is a big, big problem. And even in Taiwan, it's a big problem. In Japan, it's a big problem. All over the world. So we will try and translate this book into Mandarin and other languages. And hopefully, this will make a big contribution to the whole world. Not just Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris, but this is the answer to the society today. Society is not a society as it used to be. It is in turmoil. It is completely topsy-turvy. And we are so frightened. We do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. Because everything is going so crazy. Everything is going so crazy today. This program was in a rush, and Dhammaputri, Linda, Cheng, every day email, rush. So a little bit rushed for this program. But we are going to produce all these things, and we want to spread it all over. What we want from you is to practice and also spread wherever you can spread. We will give you all these things. Just give a little bit more time because we want to make it even better. Small mistakes here and there we want to improve, and we will send it to you. We will print these posters, we make videotapes, and those of you who want to sponsor can make some more videotapes and send it to other people. So we can multiply. We want to multiply. Not just one person doing the whole thing. We want to bring as many people to be active and contribute. So that if each one of you makes small contribution, like giving the books to your neighbors, or videotape to your neighbors, or reproducing, or organizing in your own way. Now you have heard me talk. Next time, you talk and tell what it is. You run the program. That is what I want. I cannot come here every day. But I want you all to run the program. I will train. I will help. I want you all to then be on your own. And then we can grow like the Bodhi tree with lot of branches, lot of leaves, and lot of beautiful seeds.